Would it be crazy to know what red flags to look out for when dating, especially if you're looking to meet a partner for a long-lasting relationship? If we haven't met before, my name's Lily. I'm a love and intimacy mentor for people who've gone through toxic relationships who want to end up in long, loving, lasting relationships. So, I want to talk a little bit about red flags, things that you can spot, but I also want to go a little bit deeper. I want to talk a bit more about breaking the pattern, because if you found yourself in going into these types of relationships again and again and again, whether it's narcissists, whether it's controlling relationships or manipulative relationships or psychopathic relationships, it doesn't matter. We want to talk about the patterns and what you actually really need to look at in order to break those patterns. And we're going to talk a little bit about red flags, and we're also going to talk a little bit about how to meet someone who is actually compatible with you, because without compatibility, you don't have that longevity that you want in a relationship. So, to start off with, patterns. There's a reason why there is a pattern that you're picking the same type of partner again and again and again. And the funny thing is, you might have realized, or you might not have realized, but you might find that you have friendships that also follow this pattern, or work commitments that follow this pattern. Often people who end up in narcissistic relationships, especially, will find themselves in positions where they are not being prioritized. They're taught to prioritize everyone else and everything above themselves. So they find themselves in relationships with partners who don't prioritize their needs or their feelings or their emotions. They can find themselves in friendship dynamics where they're constantly giving to that friendship, and that friendship's constantly expecting that person to give to them. And they can also find themselves in work situations where they're over giving beyond their means as well, where the work or the career that they're in or the boss that they have doesn't really respect or understand or care about their emotional needs, physical needs, or anything else. So as you can see, this is a pattern. So where does this stem from? This is usually 9 times out of 10, a pattern that happens from childhood. That child at some stage has been taught their emotions, their feelings, their happiness, them as a person does not matter, and they need to learn to prioritize. It's usually a parent, prioritize that parent's needs first. Okay, that parent's wants, their needs, their desires, and everything first. So what I want you to do, if you have found yourself in this dynamic, is I want you to understand where this has stemmed from. Was there someone in your childhood, usually between the ages of 0 and 7, that showed that your emotions and your feelings and your experiences at life didn't really matter? You can often find that people who've gone through narcissistic relationships, they have a parent or two parents that have low levels of emotional intelligence. Because again, when we have a look at why people go into this kind of dynamic, we're creatures of habit. We will always go into dynamics that feel familiar to us because that's safety. We stick to things that feel familiar because that's the thing that's kept us alive up until this moment. Anything that feels like uncertain or we're not familiar with, it doesn't feel safe. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why we'll continue to go into a certain type of pattern unless we learn how to evolve from that pattern. So that gives you a little insight. Usually when I work with clients, I go really deep into this, because without understanding the core essence of what's gone on, the impact it's had on your identity, the impact that it's had on your relationship patterns or other patterns within your life, you will not be able to break that pattern fully in the most quickest, efficient way. So to start off with, from just watching this video, I want you to think, who was the parent, or was it both parents that had low levels of empathy or emotional intelligence? When did you start to realize that your needs and your emotions did not matter? When did you notice that you had to focus on other people and how other people perceived you more than you perceived, the more that you cared about what other people think and feel versus how you think and feel? Okay, how you feel about yourself or about that situation. So I want you to notice when and how that happened within your life. If you need help with this, it's fine. Feel free to book a free 15-minute call with me and we can go through that together. That is one of the first core things to go ahead and do and look at. Okay, like I said, usually I spend a lot of time on this because it's so crucial to breaking the pattern. Okay, next thing, let's talk about red flags. Okay, what are red flags? Red flags are literally there to allow you to know that there's something there that doesn't meet your needs when it comes to a relationship, or jeopardize your needs when it comes to a relationship. One of the biggest red flags, okay, that I will have my clients look out for is a lack of empathy, because I really do believe, I truly believe wholeheartedly that empathy is literally the difference between having a healthy relationship and an unhealthy relationship. Without empathy, you've got nothing. Because empathy is what allows us to really care, and also to really connect with someone, to really understand someone at that deeper level. The scary thing is, you might have heard me say this before, but I will carry on saying it again and again and again, because I think I just want more people to understand and know this, is that narcissists, the empathy part of the brain is underdeveloped. This has been scientifically proven. And the thing is, you cannot learn empathy. The neuroplasticity of the brain, and the part of the brain that actually learns empathy, that slows down after the ages of 0 and 7 years old. It's something you learn as a child. Empathy is learned by mimicking facial expressions when you're a baby. That's why, when we have that, that you see parents have that bond with their babies, you will see that they will mimic facial expressions and stick tongues out and do all these different, crazy, funny expressions for those babies to mimic. And that's the first step of learning empathy. So you can't teach that to a narcissist. That's why they will never, ever, ever change. So, and this is why it's really important to be able to meet someone with empathy, because that's something you either have or don't have, okay? But it's a crucial ingredient to a healthy relationship. So the way we look for empathy, we can look from just dating profiles. I show people how to look from that, from just having a look at a few dating profile pictures on dating sites. I also teach people how to see this within messages, and how to see this within interactions with people, because the sooner you find that, the sooner you can understand whether that person's the right person for you, to actually create a healthy relationship with. Okay, anything that displays selfishness, a lack of consideration for others, any elements of being cruel or being highly critical or judgmental, they are huge red flags. You see that straight away, run, okay? They're not good things or good traits to have in a person. You want to be able to see empathy, compassion, care, understanding, good communication skills, emotional openness. These are the things that you're looking for. Another one is consistency. As soon as you get consistency, you've got something to be able to build trust on. So that's the important part around the red flags. Now, moving forward, the next part is compatibility, because yes, okay, someone might have empathy, but it doesn't mean that they're the right person for you. So compatibility is super, super important. I refer to this as, imagine doing a car share with someone, and you want to make sure that you're both in a car that you feel good and comfortable with, you listen to music that you both enjoy, you're traveling on the roads that feel good to you, and you're also going to the same or very similar direction. Because as soon as you have anything that, doesn't work or doesn't fit, that journey is suddenly going to become very uncomfortable. So if I just put this over in relationship terms, if you share a life with someone where you've got different values, different beliefs, you don't want to go in the same direction, and you don't prioritize the same things, well, that relationship is going to be filled with a lot of friction, because you're not going to understand each other in a deep enough way. And also you're going to have to compromise. And I don't really believe in compromising a relationship, because it means sacrificing your needs for someone else's. Yes, you're going to have to do that in a certain ways in a relationship, but it's usually quite minimal. It's on the little things rather than the big things in the relationship. So You know, for example, if your career is super important to you and that's something that's really, you know, you really prioritize, but, you know, you have to compromise on that in a relationship, well, that's not going to be a relationship that's going to work for you or work with you. You know, the way I see a relationship and what I believe a good relationship is it's a relationship where two people have the space to be able to be who they are. They're not controlled, they're not coerced, they're not changed in any way. They're two people that basically are allowed to be themselves. They don't have to change for anyone or change to be a certain way to be able to enjoy life with another person. Okay. And I think the other side of things as well is, you know, a big part of a healthy relationship is being able to evolve, is being able to learn, is being able to grow. And if you're already on the same wavelength, you're going to grow together in the same direction. So that's the way I personally see, you know, healthy, loving relationships. And it's one of the reasons why I really studied compatibility to a very deep psychological level, because I could see the difference between a relationship that works and the relationship that doesn't. The other side of things as well with healthy relationships, and I know I'm just spitting out a ton of information here, but sod it. You know, it's useful at the end of the day. We want to make sure we're meeting the right partners. Healthy relationships, one of the key differences, and again, this is sort of science-based, is that a healthy relationship will soothe, you know, you will soothe each other's nervous systems. You know, you'll find yourself feeling relaxed. You'll find that that hug or that kiss will just completely soften you, relax you, and you just feel safe and at home. An unhealthy relationship, you will feel hypervigilant, you will feel like you're treading on eggshells, you will feel that you're preparing to do, you know, to firefight. It's, you know, you have that horrible feeling of, you know, something's about to go wrong or you're having to defend yourself on something. So you will feel that difference within your nervous system of whether you're in a healthy relationship or not. So I know I've just covered a lot of information in one go, but I'll go again from the beginning just to summarize, because this is stuff that we go through within our membership. It's stuff that I go through with on our one-to-one clients, our upcoming mastermind. We go through this in a very deep and profound way. And this is the journey that I take people on that allows them to go ahead and meet their partner for a long-lasting relationship. Doesn't matter what their past relationships look like at all. Trust me, I have seen it all. I've experienced a lot of it myself. And you know, we have like a very high success rate as well, where over 80% of our clients end up in long-lasting relationships too. So this stuff works. So to summarize, red flags. Oh, sorry, no. Hang on. That's the second one. To start off with, we want to talk about why you've ended up in that pattern of narcissistic or abusive or toxic relationships. Have a look at where that stemmed from. Usually it's from a parent or two parents with low levels of empathy or low levels of emotional intelligence, because what it does is it teaches you that your emotional needs, you as a person, you do not matter. You need to make everyone else healthy and prioritize them over yourself. Two, in terms of red flags, the main thing that you're looking for is, does that person have empathy, and does that person have a level of compassion and kindness towards you? Any forms of self-centeredness, any forms of critical behavior where they're criticizing you or criticizing those around you, that's usually a big red flag, because it shows that there's little empathy for, you know, you and other people. Okay, and that's crucial to a healthy relationship. Compatibility. You know, if you're struggling with compatibility, go ahead and check out the free guide we've got, because it goes into that in lots of more detail. And also, if you want, you know, major help on this, then great. You know, let's go on the journey together and go and check out the mastermind, which we are launching at the start of this year for people who are wanting to end up in long-lasting relationships. But compatibility is the difference between a long-lasting relationship and a short-term fling. Okay, super important to get that right. And then healthy relationships, how to know if you're in a healthy relationship or not. Does it soothe your nervous system, or do you find yourself treading on eggshells? Okay, really simple stuff. So if this has helped, please feel free to like it. Feel free to drop me a comment if you've got any questions, because I'm looking to do more videos and things like that at the moment. So feel free to drop me questions, drop me a direct message, or even book a free 15-minute call with me with anything that you are struggling with right now. Because the nice thing is those calls, they're not sales calls. We do not do any sales on those calls at all. That is literally 15 minutes where you're able to share with me any issues that you have, and we can solve that within that 15-minute time. Okay, so check out the links. Any questions, feel free to let me know, and hopefully I'll hear from you soon. Bye for now. Take care.